What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Bryce, and today I'm going to read in chapter 29 of the Partner Inheritance. Let's begin. Chapter 29, Siobhan, Washington, August 9th, 1957. At 17 years old, Siobhan Washington did indeed love all, but she loved Reggie Bradley the most. Siobhan hadn't taken Reggie very seriously at first. He was a boy, a distraction, a small bit of defiance toward her father. But as she got to know Reggie, she learned that he was more than just a boy, more than one of her father's tennis players. He was smart. He loved math, and he loved to read too. They would sit at the park in the back, hidden from view, and would spend hours talking about books. Black Boy, Native Son, Invisible Man. They didn't always agree, but that was what made the conversation so interesting. She especially loved when Reggie got to the park before her, like today. The sun had almost set, but the park was still full of kids. She stood behind a tree and watched as Reggie ran back and forth between four kids on the swings, pushing each one as they yelled, "Higher! Higher!" Then he helped another child cross across the monkey bars, his hands lightly around her waist, ready to catch her if she fell. Siobhan had asked him once why he played with the kids. His reply, "Because I didn't have anyone to do it for me." Reggie checked his watch after the girl made it safely across the monkey bars, and that was when Siobhan stepped out from behind the tree. She made sure that Reggie noticed her, then she continued on farther into the park, beyond the playground and basketball courts, underneath a canopy of oak trees. She heard his footsteps a few minutes later. Even now, she still became giddy whenever he approached. He was tall and lanky, but he walked with a purpose. Like he had somewhere to be, like he was trying to do something with his life. Voice crack. She rose from her spot underneath their oak tree. "I'm glad you got my note," she said. She had left word for him at the shoe shine stand, but sometimes the other boy forgot to deliver the messages. He took her hand, then they sat down on the grass. "Your turn or mine?" he asked. "Yours." Ever since their first meeting, they began their dates with a puzzle. Siobhan liked puzzles based on math. Reggie was more of a trickster. His riddles always had a twist. She leaned in as he began. "One night, a king and a queen boarded an empty ship," he told her. "They set sail for France, sailing all day and night. When they landed, everyone on the boat went ashore." "How many people got off the boat?" Siobhan repeated the riddle in her head, trying to find the twist. Finally, she sighed. "I give up. 2?" He grinned. Want a hint?" After she nodded, he said, "Think about the pieces on a chessboard." Siobhan closed her eyes and tried to picture the board. There was the king, queen, rook, bishop, knight. Three. I said, my bad. 3. She yelled. "The king, the queen, and the knight," spelled Knight. He pulled her closer to him. "Technically, you know I'm still winning, right? 20-18. Reggie had been keeping track of who had solved each puzzle over the past year. In some ways, he was just competitive as her father. "Don't you know it's in your best interest to let your girlfriend win?" He was already leaning into her. "Well, maybe I can give you some bonus points." They kissed, but he pulled away after a few moments. "Where does Coach think you are this time?" he asked as he ran his fingertips across the bracelet circling her wrist. He had made it for her in his shop class for her birthday. He had been trembling so much when he handed her the small box he wrapped it in. And then as soon as she opened it, he started complaining about how cheap and small it was and how she deserved better. She finally had to kiss him so he'd shut up. He loved her bracelet. She loved her bracelet and had worn it every day since he'd given it to her. "He thinks I'm at Ellie's," Siobhan replied. "She's on a date with a boy from the telephone company. She likes him. We'll see what happens." "Where are they going?" he asked. She made him a picnic. "They're going to watch the stars out by Murray Creek." A girl that brings food to her boyfriend? His eyes crinkled as he grinned. Doesn't Ellie have a sister? Maybe I should see what she's doing next weekend. Boy, hush. Siobhan slapped his arm. Do you want me to make a picnic for you next time? A turkey sandwich, a plate of potato salad, a couple of cokes, and a big slice of apple pie? Apple pie. Sounds good. Wouldn't be too hard. She paused as Reggie's face turned into a frown. What's wrong? She asked. He sat back and shook his head. Nothing. Reggie, really, it's nothing. He scratched a mosquito bite on his arm. I just don't like Coca-Cola, that's all. Personally, I like Sprite. I love me some Sprite. The best. She crossed her arms. Reggie, is this about the other day at the shoe shine stand? That was over a week ago. You didn't have to drink it. What was I supposed to do? Give it back? She asked. And why are you worried? I'm here with you, not him. He smiled and reached out to her again. He kissed the back of her hand. I'm sorry, it's just the way he dismissed me. I should have thrown that money right back in his face, but I know. She traced the fine freckles on his skin with her thumb. For Reggie, every little bit of money helped, even dimes and nickels. That's why he worked so many odd jobs. Shoe shiner during the day, busboy at one of the local bars at night, and even a janitor at Mount Carmel. Ironically, her father helped Reggie land some of those jobs before he knew they were a couple, of course. It was all good work, but she knew Reggie felt it was beneath him. He was capable of so much more. He just needed a chance, just like every other Negro in Lambert. You ready for tomorrow? She asked him. He nodded. I'm going to cram that ball right down their throats. That sounds painful. Especially the Allen kid. He's the worst. Then he shrugged. Actually, they're all bad. Siobhan recalled the conversation she had overheard a few weeks ago between her parents, the day after her father challenged the Wallace team to the game. She had stood outside at the window and listened as her mother talked about the difference between vengeance and justice. Justice is better, in my opinion. Talking with Reggie was like reliving it all over. She almost told him so, but she knew what would cause another argument. Then he kissed her again, and they both forgot about tennis and soda pop and everything else in the world, at least for a little while. I have to go soon, Siobhan eventually said. I know, he took a breath. I had a dream last night. We were living in Chicago. I was working, and you were in school. We had a small apartment, shabby furniture, a leaky sink, but it was ours. And we were together. Siobhan pressed her hand against his cheek. Reggie, I know, but a fella's allowed to dream, ain't he? I still think you should reconsider college. How can I afford to spend 4 more years in school when we need food on the table today? Facts. He asked. I can't do that to Grandma. But you can make so much more money. Says who? The only place paying decent money to Negroes around here is the city. And the last I checked, I didn't need a college degree to collect trash or dig ditches. What about the military? I don't want you to go away, but if you really need the money, remember Vic Draper? Big as an ox, breath like a sewer. Best linebacker on the 1950 championship team. Anyway, he went into the Army. And you know what he was doing for them? Scrambling eggs and baking biscuits. Reggie rested his head in his hands. You deserve better than a cook, better than a ditch digger. Reggie, I love you no matter what you did. She hugged him hard. Things will be different once I graduate. Daddy won't be this way forever. She didn't know how, but she had faith that everything would work out. She believed in him even when Reggie didn't, but she couldn't carry the burden for both of them. She needed Reggie to believe it too, but instead of saying any of this, she kissed him again because sometimes that was easier than trying to come up with the words. Before you go, tell me that poem again that you like so much, he said, still holding on to her. The Langston Hughes one. She squeezed him tighter, wishing she could make this moment last forever. Then she began to recite, I too sing America. And that was chapter 29. So tomorrow I'll be reading chapter 30. And that's about it. Peace out.